is up, everyone? What is up? How's it going? Happy Monday. Is Monday ever really a happy day? I mean, Monday. So, that's a thing. Beans. Beans, good for the heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. The more you fart, the better you feel. So eat beans with every meal. Yeah. But how's everyone doing today? Ooh, there's Crunchyroll jobs today, apparently. Crunchy. I got a new little device here. Um, this is interesting. It's from Chirp. Not sponsored. It was just sent to me to check it out. So basically, when I talk to these people, they want to create interactive experiences for kids. This is a kid's toy. But to get them away from using screens as much. And I'm totally game for removing screen time from a lot of kids because I think kids are on computers way too much. Not computers, but like the handheld devices. You know, you know how it is. Everyone throws a phone at their kid or a tablet at their kid, and it doesn't allow them to have really any proper creativity or anything. So you gotta install the Chirp app. We're gonna go through this and see what it's like together. Although I'm curious, can you run this without... Okay, so it has these NFC cards over here with some stories. Time machine, tail guard, nada. Yeah, these are definitely NFC cards. I can tell. Just because I can feel the weight on them. Okay, so it doesn't really do anything on its own. So I guess we have to download the app. Grab that. Alright, let's see. Play Store. Chirp. My Chirp. I guess we have to install this app according to the instructions. I was trying to figure it out, but I was like, can I figure this out without instructions? You apparently need to do that to upgrade the firmware. You need to hold the... Oh! Okay, so you don't even need it.
Download the Chirp app and completed registration? If so, you can select Add Device in the app's Mind menu to start the setup process.
So you do need to set it up on a phone. Now, what I'm curious about is, does it use the phone in any sort of way, or is it just something that, like, you have parental controls over? Almond birds. Running a Docker Minecraft server now. Give them a book. Yeah, well... On one hand, I can see why you wouldn't want to do that. So you do have to set up a username. Sign up. We'll use my Bitwarden over here on this phone. I don't think I have Proton on this. Yeah, we'll use Bitwarden. Generate our passwords and everything. So, it'll be curious to see what data this collects on you. I don't know what the price is on this device, though. Create a login over here. Chirp. I don't know why they call it that. I mean, Che Guevara isn't on it. So, email. Generate a password. Should be good. Alright. Alright. And copy and paste. At least 5 characters, 1 lower and uppercase, so at least 1 number. I'd probably give him feedback that it should be a little bit longer, but that's just me. Okay, I agree to the... I'm gonna have to read their... Oh, interesting. It didn't like the space at the end of my, email. So they probably should do some kind of, Please agree, receive email. It says optional, but I have to actually click that. Okay. So I'm definitely have to give them feedback on what optional actually means. And then, of course, you got the typical grab the email. It's going to take a few seconds because it's probably got to go through my email security system. There we go. Verify. Bitwarden is extremely time dependent on learning how to use it and follow written directions. Yeah. This is giving you trouble. I don't know if kids will like it. Well, this is the parents would have to set it up. A kid's not going to have an email. We're talking like 5-year-olds. All right. Put my email in. The parents are the ones that are going to have to set it up. You think a kid's going to care about firmware updates? Okay, add my device. Check your box. So we got to get the box ID. Okay, they definitely need to make that font a little bit better. Okay, box is on. Rotate the top button to the left. And select the Wi-Fi button.
Wi-Fi connection starting. Searching for Wi-Fi.
So it does use some kind of data. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I gotta remember what my damn Wi-Fi password is. We'll put this on the guest network, at least for now. I ain't put it on my main network.
Wi-Fi connected.
Okay. Child's nickname. Barack. Teacher box name. Boxy McBoxface. The original. Family name. Geek. Okay, you can share with interactive kids. Age 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's got 4 to 13 years old. Yeah, this is definitely not made for kids that are going to be old enough to understand this. You can put their interests in. So, like, yeah, we'll put, like, dinosaur. Okay. Robots. Animals. That's another one. Fairy tales. Okay, let's start with that. That's a good mix. 4 different topics. Okay. We got a happy face. Okay, so now that we have that in there,
Welcome to Nada Hotel.
You're the hotel manager of this animal hotel, and your job is to make sure every guest has a wonderful night.
There's a little bit of a lag I'm noticing when it's probably grabbing details. The device definitely needs to have a little bit of a firmware update because I'm noticing the interface is a little bit laggy. Like, okay, so you can see this. Look at that lag. Okay? That's a little bit laggy. So there definitely needs to be some tuning there. Alright. They definitely need to make the instructions a little bit more detailed. Alright. I'm just gonna put another card in and see what happens. So we'll put the...
Ready to hop in your time machine?
There's definitely a little bit of a lag, but I can't tell if that's because of the throttling on my guest network I did. Okay, so there's these little options here. 1, 2, 3. There's a little pirate logo. We'll see what they got. Okay, so hold on. Press and hold the button. This is like an interesting concept, but I can definitely tell there needs to be some refinement.
Inside the reef lab, Dr. Octopus's 8 tentacles fly across the keyboard at lightning speed. When he sees you walk in, he looks up and says, "Barack, congratulations!
Hey, it says my dog's name right.
Test. From today on, you are an official time agent." "Thank you, Doctor," you reply.
I'll have to give this to one of my nieces to see if she likes it. She's 7.
Points to the giant screen in the
No,
lab.
she's about 8 now.
Look,
God, I'm
This
old.
is your very first mission. A massive egg appears on the screen. "What is that?" you ask. "Someone took a time travel tour to the dinosaur era and somehow brought this egg back. He said he found it, but can't remember where. We have to return it immediately.
The toy is for the
If the timeline gets
kids.
messed up, we are in big trouble."
It's,
Barack, do you understand your mission?
To get them away from using screens. Yes, I understand the mission. Okay, so it takes your prompt. There's a little bit of an AI processing. So I don't know if it's on the actual... What's up, ex-Hunter, Hooker Hunter? Never knew that stain killed more than bad mustache man of Germany. Thought you was going to put your boyfriend's name. Yeah, so apparently, yeah, you can interact with it, speak with it. Okay, that's an interesting thing. I'll have to give it to one of my actual, like, little kid nieces, to see what they think. It's an interesting concept, to say the least. If it gets kids away from, you know, tapping on screens, I think it's great. Like, what was that addictive, cartoon thing they were watching? Coco Melon! That was it. You download the Mastic app. How do I download movies I don't have? I'm not giving the answer to this one if you can't do your own research. It's easy when I got my kid to spend less screen time. Bluey is better than Coco Melon. Is it? Like, when I grew up, we had Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues was the shit, man. Thought you were gonna put your boyfriend's name. No! My dog is my kid. Where is Barack? Oh. Hi. Hello, boy. Hello, boy. He's a good boy. He likes to hug. He's a good dog. He's a good dog. Bluey is made by the Australian government, I think. It's an op. It's an op by the Australian government to take over the world. Mm. You good boy? You almost smacked your head, buddy. He's a good boy. Nishika. Did you forget that command? Nishika. They teach valuable lessons, and every episode has a meaning, which I like. Wait, are you an adult that's actually watching Bluey? I'm not judging. Lightly. When I told her to put the screen away and she had a fit and she got hit after the third time or so, she got the hint. I don't know if I would recommend hitting your kids, but yeah. No treat for doggo? Well, you gotta put the channel points in. It puts the channel points in the chat or the dog doesn't get the treat. The woman I dated loved watching Bluey. She is 20 now. So I saw the woman you dated, so no longer dating. If she's 20 watching Bluey, it's okay, dude. I've dated women like that before. You did? Why am I not seeing the channel points? I don't see channel point redeem. I'm not even seeing it on the Twitch side. Oh, there you go. Sorry, Barack. Lamala. Chev. Good boy. Barack. Barack. Where's your brother? Barack. You were just here. Barack. You not want a treat, dickhead? Barack. Bo. Barack. Bo. You got yours. Come here. Come here, Barack. Barack. Come here. Ari, you're not getting another one, you fat ass. Come here. No, not you. You got yours. Barack. Bo. Barack. 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 Oh. Lamala. Lamala. Chev. Lamala. Lamala. Good boy. Ari, I love you, but you're a chonker. You're a chonker. You're a fat butt. You're a fat butt. You're a good boy. I love you. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. You're not getting another one. Dude, what's it? What are you, a frog? You a frog? I'll take it to him, yeah. He's a good boy. You good dog? So I did some moving work last night, yeah? Oh, and I got a bunch more equipment for my ham shack, so I don't know if you saw on the Discord, but I started putting the items in my ham shack. You made $140 from this job. Nice. Nice. That's good cash. They pay you cash? Cash is king. So, yeah, I got some more of my ham equipment in. I'm still waiting for the power supply and a few other things. I'm also... I came back from Hamvention and I looked at my roof, by the way, and I realized I got some wind damage on my roof. Like, it was kind of bad, so now I'm dealing with insurance and shisty roofers. Like, holy crap! I am literally going to be making a video because I have most of the script worked out on how a lot of these salespeople are using social engineering tactics to get you to close a sale. Like, it is ridiculous. So, one thing I always do, and you should always do, whenever, you know, you're going to get work done on a house, even sometimes in the case of a car. Well, cars, it's, you know, kind of straightforward. But in a house, get quotes from several different people. I hope you didn't hear that. I've been holding on to that for a minute. Anyway, get quotes from a few different people. And try to avoid national brands with home repairs and everything because... What? The whole arpeggio that I brought on there, it's just Dev? Says the guy that was talking about how he's eating beans. Look, man. When you have a mesh seat, even your butt feels better when you're farting. Just saying. Got a whole arpeggio there, you know? Anyway. Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah. Shiesty, salesman that I was dealing with in the roof dropped the couch he was moving, and my effing fingers kept slipping. I dropped it on the kitchen floor. Is the seat mesh-tastic? Oh yeah. Mesh-tastic is great, especially on your butt cheeks. The effing house sold for $2 million. Yeah, I can believe it. Some of the housing prices are crazy. Like, I told people, like, I couldn't afford my house that I live in now. If I were to go out and buy this today, I couldn't afford it. It's ridiculous. Like, housing values are insane. And renting's even worse. Like, the last time I rented, I think I spent like $600 a month. And it was in a nice part of town and everything like that. I have friends of mine that are in like dumps that are worse than what I lived in that are paying $1,500, $2,000 a month. It's insane, property values and everything like that. And it just keeps going up and up and up. I think working Home Depot, then that job just done my right arm in. Yeah. You know, honestly, a good idea for a lot of people that are trying to furnish things. Check out the marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist on in the rich areas, because sometimes they just want to get rid of stuff and it's on the curb, and sometimes they just need to have people pay for it. I'm actually looking for a couch that way. And some other furniture. Don't know if I'll make it that way, but yeah, so shiesty salesmen in terms of home model or home repairs and everything. There's a whole method of social engineering I've realized that they play on. Hold up. Let me pull up the script that I was writing so you can just get a little taste of what I was talking about. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, where's the section I want to show y'all? Hold on. The manipulation works on authority, scarcity, urgency, reciprocity, commitment, and fear of loss. So basically, here's how the manipulation works. Authority. They throw around fancy certifications, branded samples, and name drop their suppliers like it's gospel. Scarcity. If we leave today, we can't offer this price again. Urgency. We have a crew available this week. We're already paying them, so we can knock off a few grand if you sign now. urgent reciprocity. They act like they're making exceptions just for you. Commitment. They get you saying yes to small things to build a pattern of agreement. Fear of loss. I'd hate to see you miss this deal or go with someone who cuts corners. It's not about informing you. It's about nudging you, guiding you, and eventually pushing you into saying yes before you've had a chance to breathe. And these guys were in my house for like hour, 2, 3 hours. And the only people that I've gone with so far on any of the repairs and remodels and everything like that are the ones that go in and out 10, 15 minutes. And most of the time that they're there for like 30, 45 minutes, I'm asking them a bunch of questions. Like, well, if we do it this process, how does it work? Do you do any other work? Like, and what blows my mind is the prices some of these, like, companies are, like, trying to throw at you, making it seem like it's a good deal. Like, I had a roofing company quote me almost $20K for a roof and gutters. Then the next roofer came in, and they're willing to work with my insurance company to boot, because they're like, yeah, you know, you have actual wind damage and stuff like that. We can, you know, work on your behalf to get that taken care of, because they want to get paid, and they know the insurer and make, you know, kind of helps that out a little bit. They were like, yeah, we can probably do the roof for like 8 or 9K. They have to do the specific, you know, math and everything. They're like 8 or 9K, and then tack on gutters, another 2K. Nowhere near the 20K the other one was having. And the 20K one, they kept bringing the price down, but still were way above. And then try to, it's just this whole like con basically. What's up, Bobby? 1919. I was paid $60 up front. Then when we all was done, they gave me $80. And in my head, I was like, I would have done it for free. I had fun and learned stuff. Yeah, never do stuff like that for free. It's one thing if you're doing it for, you know, your friends or your family. But even with my friends and my family, my agreement is always at minimum, feed me. Have the expectation of payment, even if it's in food. I do the same thing with my aunt. She needs help all the time with her shoulder and everything like that. And I'll just say, I'll do it for the lemon bars. You know that chicken you like, that I like and everything? How about you make that, and I'll come over. Now, of course, if she's really sick or anything like that and she can't actually do it, that's cool. But I always know that, like, when she's better, she'll make me dinner. You know, it's one of those, like, you know, she'd make dinner regardless. This is family. I didn't even know this guy. I met him at work, and he asked me if I'd help her with the job. Yeah, I've done stuff like that. When I used to work at Staples back in the day, I used to do odd job IT things, even though you're not supposed to, because I knew Staples would charge them out the butt. And I'd pull them aside and say, look, I'm the guy they're going to have send out anyway to do the thing. I can do the same thing, but charge you a lot less. You pay Staples $200 to come out to your house. You give me 80. I even did little basic electric repairs, stuff like that they needed, because I was an apprentice electrician. You know, just trying to do the thing I needed to do at the time. Yeah, there was like a little things you could do all the time on the side. Get that hustle. Hustle and flow. He was like the Tony Soprano Staples. Yo, man, I got a good price on this thing. Just fell off the truck. But seriously, 80, why not 100? At least half of what Staples is asking. Because 100 is what they'll charge to do it in the store. And they still have to come back to the store. So why not do it for 80? Give them the convenience there. And then once they're hooked in, they know me for a while. Now I got people that still hit me up for my Staples days. And, you know, now I'm like, look, I got a full-time job. I do all this, $150. And they'll still pay me the $150 because I've done the work for them for so many years. I can even get some work with his brother as a general contractor, so I can even learn more shit. There you go. Get into the skilled trades, my man. You get some good money there. If I didn't like air conditioning so much, I'd still go the electrician route. That, and I don't like ladder work. But yeah, you can definitely make a lot of money in the skilled trades. I'm telling you, just Dev, if you want, here's a tip. If you find where a job site is, walk up and just say, hey, you got any jobs available? You'd be surprised how many job sites will hire on the spot. I've done it before. Is that I need to lift more weight. What would an expensive ham radio setup? What could you do? Oh my God. Ham radio can get expensive. All right. Let me see if I can pull up some links here and just show you like some of my dream equipment. Because like my setup is not low end that I'm building. It's probably a mid-range setup. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you. So let's go with just the transceivers here. Let's start with the base equipment you're going to need. So, of course, no, not shortwave. We're going to need a transceiver. We're going to want a base transceiver. We're talking base station, right? Like home. Not that many people know how to do electrical or plumbing. Exactly. You can make so much money in electrical or plumbing. So this ICOM right here does HF only. 200-watt system. That's one of my dream units. 6 Gs. You could even like go for this Yaesu unit just for a little less money. Same concept. That's 5 Gs. These are just the base units, okay? That's the unit I picked up. The FT991A. It's a great unit for HF, VHF, and UHF. These high-end units can only do HF, high frequency. So they can only do up to 50 megahertz. Whereas a UHF system, I think this peaks out at 450, not mistaken? 470. Okay. Now, these are just, the default sort. Let's go high-low. You got even more expensive units. Like this Kenwood here. Another high frequency. Almost 9 Gs. There's a higher-end ICOM. 7 Gs over here. That's the 7760 limited edition. I think if I recall, this has a little remote station for you to use it. Because it has 2 boxes over here. Yeah. I think that's the front display. Anyway, so that's just your transceiver. We haven't even gotten into the antenna. Now the antennas, okay, you're going to want an HF antenna. So verticals, you can get those pretty inexpensively in comparison. I mean, you can get some expensive verticals too. So, yeah, about 3 Gs for, your high-end verticals. But that ain't even as expensive as it gets for antennas. All right? We haven't even gotten into towers. Because you'll need a tower, too, for that antenna if you're getting the really good one. So, like, we're looking at an HF beam antenna. Get yourself a nice Yagi. So, high-low. 12 Gs for an antenna. Look at that. That's an 80 meter. That's just for 80 meter, not 40 meter. And it doesn't do 160 either. A lot of people don't do 160. But yeah, you can spend a lot on antennas. Now, the honest truth is you should probably focus more on your antenna than your base unit. Because you can have a really, really nice base unit and it work like crap if your antenna isn't set up properly. And you can have a crap base unit with a really, really nice antenna and do a lot better. The antenna is the most important part of it. So you can do like different things. It's like you got a rotatable dipole. So you can get a dipole over here. You can have it on a mechanical rotation. So you can actually rotate that. And these are directional, so you can get it in any orientation you want. So yeah, you can spend a lot of money on antennas just compared to the base units. But that's not including the tower. You're going to want to get yourself a tower. Now, how tall of a tower is determined by your local municipal zoning regulations. You can have a tower taller than 200 feet, but you must clear it with the FAA once it's 200 feet. There's nothing stopping you from putting a 200-foot antenna, besides your HOA or stuff. Like, this was an antenna I was actually looking at for myself. The 20-foot over here. I thought that'd be nice to put in my backyard. And it's relatively inexpensive, too. But, of course, you know, you got your 50-footers. HOA is a dirty word in the ham world. But, yeah. You got the G series over here for 1G. And then, of course, you got, like, this 12.5G antenna over here. 180 foot tall. You want to put that on your property? 180 feet. You'll have to, of course, worrying about the guying. You're going to have multiple guys. The guy lines, so you're going to need to put it at the 45, 85 foot, 125, and 165, 144 feet away. So you're going to need some land. Whereas this, I don't think I need to guy this. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between the G series and... Oh, self-supporting. Oh, that's a 45... Wait, is that a 45-foot tower? No, it's 20 feet. What the hell? The 25G, one short base section for embedment and concrete foundation, all tower section, sections and section joining hardware, one tapered section, 25G. Yeah. You'd still need the grounding plates and all of that stuff. You still need to get the base plate for these. But yeah. What's Linux? It's the operating system I use for my stuff. So yeah, that's just to get that up. Now, we're not even talking about the grounding you're probably going to want to do with this stuff. So you're going to need some lightning arresters so that it doesn't go into your system. So you're probably going to want some good polyphasers. Or if you want to, like, you know, go inexpensive, you can get these diamond antennas like I got here. Then you're going to need to ground that into a rod. We'll get to your network security on a budget in a sec. I'm just going on a ham radio spree right now. Now, of course, you're going to want some CW. Did you see the Mexican ship into the bridge? No, I didn't. So, CW, Morse code. You can get yourself some Morse code paddles. Believe it or not, these can actually get quite expensive. Look at that, $550 for a straight key. So what I was thinking of doing was getting some antique straight keys, like they used to use in the military, and get them wired in a CW. I got myself a basic CW system, $50 one for me to learn how to do Morse code and stuff. You got your SWR meters. You're going to want to add some of those. At least one. So you can measure your watts and everything going into the radio. Well, that's a nice, pretty digital one. But I don't like digital. I'll show you the one I actually got. The one I got is this guy right here. The SX600. It's the only unit that's probably going to come later on in the month. And the reason why I got this is... if it'll load. Oh, did Wicked Smell just sub? Hey, appreciate you. Why did it not come through? Email elements. Did you not do your thing? I really hate how Firefox and Windows requires a restart. Getting money in the big time, even kinda when I sleep. Wake up to getting ready to do this for the streets. ADHD. Thank you for that sub there, Wicked Smile. Appreciate you. I don't know why my browser's not loading the thing. Okay, the alerts are going through. Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, anyway. So... I don't know why this isn't loading the image, but yeah, anyway, down here. The reason why I got it is it allows me to do HF plus UHF and VHF. So I can do the entire spectrum to see my entire range of my entire radio. You've been subscribed for 6 months? Nice. Yeah, you can spend a lot of money on ham radio. Now, I spent a lot of money in respect to how much I have, but you can put a ton of money into this, as you can see. Like, without even looking too hard, we found, like, you could spend 30 G's on a setup. So you can go crazy with this. But you gotta, do it wisely. Now, as far as the inexpensive security setup, there's a couple options you have. You have the ability for you to make your own firewall, which is a viable option. You get yourself a Core i3, Core i5 box with a couple Intel network interface cards. Get a used box. You can easily find one off the shelf for like $140, $150, maybe $200. Fit right in your range. But if you want to get out of the box, you'll still have you're going to be using the same software I'm going to be recommending either way. You can go to Netgate, the maker of pfSense, and buy their official hardware. So you can get one of their desktop appliances, the 1100. Now, granted, the 1100 will not be the fastest device in regards to if you have like a gigabit network. Why is this so slow? Probably because of the PF blocker. But this is a nice entry-level firewall over here. If you're using it as a router, you can get near gigabit performance, but once you start doing firewall, you're going to basically cut that in half. So if you want to go a little bit more, you can go with the 2100. If it ever loads. The irony of a networking hardware site loading slow. This guy right here, do near gigabit speeds for a firewall with 2.2 gigabits as a router. So the firewall aspect is once you start putting IDS, IPS, and all the other fixins that I normally do. But it's pretty beefy. What I was thinking of doing was for my home, if you need a little bit more. How fast is your internet? Not fast enough. I don't have enough upload. No, they got rid of the 2100 base and 6100 base. They're out of stock right now. So what I was thinking of doing for my own needs, was it the 6100 I was looking at? Because I'm planning to eventually go 10 gigabit. But I have to do some stuff. I have to do some stuff. Good God. Why are you so slow? Is TP-Link a good route? For basic, they're okay, but I've been hearing rumblings that they're going to be getting rid of them for national security reasons. So this is what I'm thinking of getting, because I have the SPF ports here. So eventually what I want to do is upgrade my firewall to SPF, have a 10 gig downlink and uplink. Well, these are WAN ports. I think you can repurpose any of these ports, to be honest, I think. But anyway, I'd like to make sure, hold on. That's what I thought. 8 independent and flexible WAN LAN ports, so you can modify those. So 2 10 gigabit SFP plus ports, 2 1 gigabit 1 gigabit Ethernet combo ports, 4 discrete unswitched 2.5 gigabit ports. So I would like to get this, upgrade my switch to 10 gigabit. I'm gonna keep my PoE switch on 1 gigabit because of the price of that stuff. Well, I'd like to run 10 gigabit to my access points, but yeah, we'll eventually I want to get 10 gigabit throughout the house. But I also need to rerun the several lines that I have out to the cameras with Cat 6A outdoor cable. I'll do that probably next year when I do the siding on the house. And then slap on a rack mount kit. They do have a wall mount kit here, but I want to get a rack mount kit to replace my Super Micro. Then I can use my Super Micro as a Proxmox box, the one that's currently running pfSense. I think that'd be great. Is Gleanet a good router provider? Never really heard of them. I had a tiny old Tiny with a i5 and 16 gigabytes of RAM running pfSense, and it seemed to work great. Yeah, they work great. I recommend with pfSense just get Intel network interface cards, and you should be golden, to be honest. Now, of course, you can get the high-end units. They have this 8200 here. This is even beefier. Overkill. And what does this have? 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. This is actually roughly equivalent to the... no, it is. It's the exact same CPU that I have in my current pfSense box. Whereas this is just a step down, 3558, which, to be honest, this is probably more than enough for what I need for my house. But I'm curious, does this have ECC? This still doesn't have ECC? Interesting. So what you got to do to get ECC? You probably got to get one of these boys over here. These are nice. Dual PSU, PCI Express slot over there. Plenty of ports. But that's rocking a Xeon. That's way overkill. Does TP-Link have good stuff? Not really. They're passable if you need a home internet, but if you're trying to do something serious, you're looking at, like, a dedicated firewall appliance like what I'm showing you with pfSense. I've been rocking a pfSense box, not the official one, but on a Super Micro box for over a decade now, in various iterations. My first one was a used Dell Optiplex. I got secondhand, slapped a new hard drive in it and a Intel network interface card. I think it was the Intel PT series. And then originally I moved from my Asus router that I had, turned that Asus router to an access point, and then slowly started replacing equipment and adding. And that's how I learned about networking and everything with VLANs and all of that stuff. I didn't go to school for a lot of this stuff. I was using the WLAN on the Tiny as the WAN port, and the onboard NIC as the LAN with my home lab behind it. It isolated my lab from the rest of my home network. Yeah, you can do a lot with those little tiny machines and everything. Actually, when I was at Hamvention this past Friday, I picked up a Lenovo Tiny PC for like $30. It was one of those, like, what the hell, why the hell not kind of things. Next year when I go to Hamvention, I'm buying a freaking cart. Like a little trolley, and I'm taking that. And I'm not bothering bringing my laptop this year. This year, I shouldn't have brought my laptop at all. I'm bringing my backpack because it's got a hydration pack in there. That was worth it. But I didn't know what to expect, so I brought my laptop with me, and my ham radio, and my Mesh-tastic. The ham radio and the Mesh-tastic totally make sense at Hamvention. The laptop, leave that at home. You don't need to bring that to Hamvention. But there were people camping out at Hamvention. Like, people actually drive and camp out and hang out for like 2-3 days. But I found out there's this whole other thing called Parks on the Air that people do. Give me 1 second. I need to grab a glass. But yeah, there's a whole thing called Parks on the Air that I learned about, which is people that are going into parks and just try to make contacts out there and see what they can do. And so next year, I think what I'm going to try to do is make a mobile field station. I'm going to get another ham radio for that. And get a whole portable dipole and, you know, antennas and all that. And then I'm going to try to go hiking with my dogs and see what I can pick up while I'm in different hills and all that. How many people were there? I'd say there was probably a good few thousand people there, but I was just on Friday. Saturdays and Sundays got packed even more. I just went Friday because I wanted to go specifically because there was a Linux talk on Andy's Ham Radio Linux, AHRL, which is a package of software to run on your Linux distro, which I will be talking about as I get my ham shack built up, because it had some good software to interface with my Yaesu and other radios, and I'm going to be using it for a lot of my own ham radio needs. There's going to be a lot of content covering a lot of this stuff. I won't show everything that it can do, because some of it also gives away your GPS locations and stuff like that, if you're into that kind of thing. Which I am, but privacy. I'm just getting 1 gig internet. Such I build my own net router. You can. Ever play around with Usenet? A long time ago. Usenet's been around for a minute. But yeah, I used to do that. But yeah, parks in the air seems like a fun idea. Going somewhere, setting up a ham radio. Like, imagine if I, maybe one day I'll be that dude that owns an RV and just travels around and actually can talk to people on the radio and stuff. I already have a ham radio that I put in my car, and I plug it into the cigarette lighter, and then I have an antenna that I ran through the trunk, and I make contacts that way. So when I was at Hamvention, I picked up an antenna mount for my car that lets me clamp it to the trunk without leaving any marks. So when I go to the car wash and all that, I can easily just take my antenna off. Just unclamp it, throw it in the trunk, and then go. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more. I just picked up my first digital mobile radio, so I'm going to be playing with DMR in the near future as well. I got to study up on how to do that. I think this weekend, what I'll be doing, because I'm giving myself a couple of days off, I'm thinking about taking the whole next week off. I'm going to study for my general ham license. I've been studying it off and on, but I need to like focus and sit down through ham radio prep, which has been really good for me to learn. They have a great way to break down those lessons and everything. And for those of you that are interested, go to hamradioprep.com, use code ChiefGeek3D for 10% off. I talk to them to at least get a discount code. I don't make any money off of this. I just get a discount for you, because that is a good platform I use. Should I buy a Raspberry Pi or a Fruity Print? Should I purchase a Raspberry Pi or a 3D printer? Yes. Just yes. So originally I bought a 3D printer because I kept needing cases and custom things for my Raspberry Pis. I don't use my 3D printers as much anymore. But it still was a worthwhile purchase. I got really into 3D printing, which is why I'm Chief Geek 3D. But not as much anymore, because it's an investment of time and everything. And I have to invest some time to maintain my 3D printer. That's why I'm thinking I'm going to take an entire week off, possibly next week, and just go through, get over some work burnout, and get through the projects that I wanted to do. But yeah, Raspberry Pis and 3D printers. You can use the Raspberry Pi to control the 3D printer. That's why I just say yes. There are cheap 3D printers out there. There's expensive 3D printers out there. Just like there's cheap ham radios and expensive ham radios. And I say that ham radio is a pretty fun thing. What should I buy first? Probably the Raspberry Pi. If you haven't played with them before and you haven't done much tinkering on machines. Because you can do a lot of tinkering, and then you can use the Raspberry Pi as a print server for the 3D printer. NordVPN expires this week. I've had it for years. Do you recommend switching to Proton Mail? Abso-freaking-lutely. So I've had many videos about this. You can go to my YouTube, where I've railed about NordVPN, and their less than stellar disclosure with their security issues they had, which admittedly weren't that severe, but it was the way they didn't disclose things. And they had to be pressured by the cybersecurity community to disclose the issues they had. Now, I am affiliated with Proton. Disclaimer. So if you do want to actually support me, you can go up to my links in bio or anywhere there. Check out the Proton links over there. So Proton Mail will give you the VPN, the Proton Drive, the Proton Pass, the simple login email aliasing tool, and Proton Mail, and more. All for one simple price. Of course, you can get it for free, but the free version's a little bit limited. I pay for it because I have custom domains attached to it from when I ran my own custom email server, but I totally do recommend Proton over NordVPN. And Proton, I don't know if you saw the news, because the Swiss government is looking at modifying their privacy laws to require logging of VPNs and everything. Proton said they'll move out of Switzerland if that happens. So, yeah. Proton will at least try to look out for you and your data. I was looking at unlimited option. Yeah. The Proton overall pack is worthwhile. I like the Proton Pass. Proton Pass that they have, the password manager, is one of the only ones I've seen that actually allows you to do email aliasing, because the problem that I find when creating passwords and many other password managers, Bitwarden included. I do like Bitwarden. I do use Bitwarden. I'm not knocking them. They're a great password manager too. And it's not a limitation per se, because it's more of a new thing. But Proton Pass allows you to create email aliases. So you can have a different email attached to every account. And how does that help you? Well, if your account gets leaked in some database from somewhere, they'll have a randomly generated email that doesn't tie to any other email, and it makes them harder to figure out. It makes it harder for them to figure out what accounts you have existing everywhere else. So it reduces your attack surface. It's a great product there. And then simple login allows you to create email aliasing. That you can, give out to these marketers and spam and everything like that, so you can generate them on the fly, and then if that email ever gets too spammy, you can kill that email off. It's great. So, it's got a lot of different tools in there. I'm only just scratching the surface. But yeah, and of course, remember, a VPN is not a silver bullet. In order to remain private on the internet, that requires you to change your behavior, not how you change your access to the internet. If you use a VPN and do the exact same things in the exact same ways as you do without a VPN, you're not really giving yourself any privacy. Now, if you're on a public network, you might give yourself a little bit more security, provided you're on a trusted VPN. That's a whole other debate, making your own versus running another service, anything like that. You've always used LastPass. Oh yeah, definitely get off LastPass. LastPass is a no-no in this community. They've gotten breached too many times for stupid security issues. But yeah, definitely check it out. They're totally worth it. Proton is, not LastPass. LastPass has a very bad reputation in the cybersecurity community, if you weren't aware. They had a breach, I think, if I remember, because a developer breached their Plex box on their home network. That's right. They had a breach of their corporate systems because an employee didn't patch their Plex media box on their home network. Which makes you wonder, how are they not zero trusting it? What's my shirt about? It's called I Got a Cheap T-Shirt. And it looked cool. I got this back in college, man. You can infer what you want from the colors and the design, man. That's just like your opinion, man. That's a lasting t-shirt. Well, it helps if you actually wash your clothes in cold water and don't use fabric softeners and just use vinegar. Seriously. If I had learned how to do laundry earlier on in my life properly, I'd probably have a lot better clothes still around. Of your knowledge, it has helped me a lot. Well, I appreciate that, Jacob. Offline AI and what's in your PC? What? What about offline AI? Man, I can't wait till I finish building this ham radio setup. But I'm thinking if I get this roof done, I may wait until the roof's done, because instead of putting it on the soffit, I could put it on the roof. Roof is on fire. I may end up getting longer cables, though. That's the case. Man, I also got to get 3 ground rods. Slam that into the ground. Bond it to the existing 3 ground rods. My house already has 1 more ground rod than it really needs to have per code. And the reason I did that is I wanted another ground rod wrapping in to the home network rack and have it at the same potential. So now I'm going to have another 3 ground rods. Like, it's going to be like kind of like all around the back. There's going to be 6 ground rods all bonded together. It'll be sweet. I'm about to get sandpaper. Get that off. I already got the dielectric grease. That's another thing. People don't think about putting dielectric grease on a lot of their electrical connections. And you should. Or at least a little petroleum jelly. That works too. You'd be surprised how well that helps you from corroding your ground connections. Everyone wants to be a homeowner until you're actually a homeowner. Then you realize how much work it is. I'm having to install Proxmox because VirtualBox is shit. Yeah, well, yeah. VirtualBox, as I tell everyone, is a toe in the water to get you into the virtual machine space. Then what you should be doing is Hyper-V on Windows or libvirt, KVMQEMU, on Linux. Mac kind of has a Type 1 hypervisor, but it's way behind the times. Proxmox is a great device for Type 1. Cubes is another one that's great for Type 1. But that's based on Zen. Zen hypervisor is really nice. Wow, Twitch. I lost my 95 watch streak because Twitch didn't count your last stream. What the hell? I wish I could fix that for you, buddy. I know you were here. Damn, libvirt. Is it good? I use libvirt on my Linux box. I like libvirt. It works great. It does a good job for everything. Offline AI because you don't want OpenAI or DeepSeek to use your data. Well, you can use DeepSeek's AI offline. They open source it. You realize that. Now, ChatGPT, I don't think has done that. I think that's what scared the hell out of a lot of these companies was it was open sourced. I have to install Pterodactyl on it and host a server. So I have a question. When you install Pterodactyl, do you ever go up to her and go... Ah. Isn't GPT-2 open source? Well, maybe 2 is, but 2 is so far behind the times. Decided to open TikTok. Welcome to the Tiki Talks. I still gotta set up my, I lost my other, Ray Hunter. So I gotta set up this one. I'll have a video on YouTube talking about setting these up. I got like so many videos planned, I just haven't sat down and done them because I've just been so tired after work. And tired with this house. I am so tired. So tired of being admired. Men always coming and going and going and coming. And always too soon. 10 points if you know the movie reference. Chris Unchecked. What's up, buddy? But I'm going right back to Twitch because it's higher quality. Well, yeah, it is. Y'all are only on the 720p on the TikToks. And you only see 1/3 of the screen. See, like, let me put it this way. You see me on TikTok? Now you don't. You see me now? Now you don't. People on Twitch and YouTube are like, why the hell are you leaning to the edge of the screen? What are the requirements to run DeepSeek offline, and what is the best software? You don't need much. You can fire up a software like LM Studio is what I use. I can show it to you. I still haven't made a shortcut for it, but boop. So you go to LM Studio. You can do this on Mac, Windows, or Linux. Ba-bam! And then I have an NVIDIA 3070 with an Ryzen 9 5950X. You don't need to, but you can. But yeah, let's see. DeepSeek R1 Llama Distill. We'll load that up with the 8 billion parameter. You can get heavier ones if you have more hardware and stuff. It's more about the VRAM if you're going to do that, but you don't need a GPU per se. About ham radio and the different bands. This is all offline. You can see what it's thinking. That is a cool little feature that they do in DeepSeek. You can see what it's thinking. And ba-bam! As you can see, this is running locally on my machine. Not going to the internet. And there you go. Yeah. What about the different wavelengths? Like, 160M, 80M, so on. LM Studio is a really great way to interface with it. You see, this is local. No internet required, ma. Look at that. 10 meter. All that. Is there a way to bridge an adapter for network? Yeah, there is. I don't know it off the top of my head. The server skipping ticks like crazy, Minecraft modded, but it's from VirtualBox Imaginary Virtualization. just turned into the Chief Geek 3D frequency with Shoot Shlub. Ham Radio Pro, you're amplifying the signal of support in the tech and gaming realm. Here's to more waves of fun and knowledge. Thanks for being a part of the digital... Oh, did you sub? Why is it not alerting? I'm really upset with Stream Elements sometimes. LLM Studios and poke around from time to time. It's fun to see the progression of offline LLMs. Yeah, it is fun to see how well they progress. It'll be interesting to be like in 5 to 10 years from now when you can actually run ChatGPT grade, like ChatGPT 4.0 grade LLMs on a local machine. I think that'll happen in our lifetime in the next 5 to 10 years. It'll be interesting if and when that happens. Who knows? Maybe one day we may have no need of the internet as we know it. Well, the internet as we know it is not the same as the internet that once was. And the internet of tomorrow is not the same as the internet of today. So it's interesting to see what will happen. Hey, what's up, Yasua? Opposite that. But yeah, there's totally, it's interesting to see where things are going with it. Now, I will say, what was college like? I didn't really go to college. I went more to, like, community college for a trade school. The little bit of college I did do was, like, ITT, and they defrauded the U.S. government. So I got my loans forgiven, at least. That's cool. F students are inventors. Beauty school trumpet. What did you end up doing in trade school? Electrician. And then I realized I didn't like being on ladders, and I liked air conditioning. But those skills were invaluable for low voltage technician, cabling, understanding networking, grounding, a lot of those things. Like I keep saying in a lot of videos, you'd be surprised how many network issues came down to the grounding sucked in the building. People don't think to look for these things. There's a reason I have the opinions that I do, that you don't need to go to college to be successful. It's because I kind of didn't. Yeah, I went to ITT, but I took expensive naps and fell asleep in the class and ended up teaching like part of the Linux class. No joke, I have witnesses for that. One of those witnesses is actually on social media. He's going into something with his wife, so he hasn't been online much, but I can get him to vouch for me eventually. You've seen him in one of my videos, Fasudo. I worked for about a year doing electrical work, realized the same thing. I hated traveling so far to work sites and feeling steam of my poop going up my back when it was freezing cold outside. But TMI, but I hated that so much. Who taught you the most? I taught myself the most, but if we're talking specifically from people that taught me things, I'd have to say my mentor, Alyssa. I can name drop her. She already has a Wikipedia page. It's not like she isn't public enough. She mentored me quite a bit into understanding cybersecurity management and introducing me to the corporate world. She was a DEF CON speaker. She's an absolute badass who will always have my utmost respect. She also informed me and educated me on, not directly, but from what I saw observationally, of the unfortunate reality of how some women are treated in tech. Like, I literally had to deal with vendors that wanted to sleep with her, and she would send me to meetings because she's like, I need you to handle this for me. Why? That guy wants to sleep with me, and of course I don't want to. And I'm like, gotcha. There were straight up situations where I would come into meetings and they thought that I was the, CTO, and I'd be like, no, 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 no. I work for her. I am here to back her up. But you must direct questions like that to her. Your videos don't get pushed to my FYP. What did you do? I don't know. That's why I'm on YouTube. I do more YouTube and Twitch. TikTok is kind of a dick when it comes to the algorithm and everything. So my advice is always find me on the Twitch, find me on the YouTube, find me on the Blue Sky, find me on the Mastodon, but you will not find me on the Twitter. Also the Discord server and the Matrix server we have. What such I do in school? I'm in 10th grade. Well, you're in 10th grade. You got time, buddy. Tinker, home lab. Get some spare computers. Throw it onto some game servers. Learn to network a little bit. Protect that stuff. Yeah. Do you want me to take a look at something? Not sure what. Interestingly enough, I originally found you through Blue Sky. Yeah, a lot of people have been finding me through Blue Sky. Blue Sky is the shit, man. I totally forgot to announce that I'm on Blue Sky. Twitch.tv, chiefgeek3d.com. There we go. Need some advice. What advice do you need? Don't eat the yellow snow? That's always sound advice. Just 5 minutes. You're here. You can share with the classroom. Did you see Blue Sky as a beta notification system for when users go live? I hope it goes through. Wait, hold up. A beta system for when users go live, like on Twitch or on Blue Sky? Like, where? If you're only in 10th grade and you're learning this, that's impressive. Yeah, I agree. I started tinkering when I was like 9 years old. It's impressive when you get the kids actually into this stuff and actually understand the reasonable applications for different technology. The problem that I see from a lot of kids is, and I think a lot of this attitude has died down recently. They think just because someone's interested in cybersecurity, privacy technologies, encryption and all this, they must be hiding something nefarious. But I think a lot of kids are waking up to the reality that no, you are never more than a generation away from your government trying to take away your freedom. And that's not specific to the US. That's every country. No country is any more than one generation away from their freedom potentially being taken away or at least threatened. And people were like freaking out kind of in the comment section when I said, maybe you shouldn't have biometrics on your phone and you should have a passcode. And people were like, well, if you press the button 5 times, I want you to think about this thought experiment for a second. You are in the middle of a stressful encounter with police. Are you going to have the wherewithal to hit the button 5 times? Or even worse, will you even be given the opportunity in many situations to do so? And it's shocking how often I have to explain to people, being proactive is always better than being reactive. You got a server replication question. Well, be careful of those replicators, man. Have you seen Stargate? Okay, what's up? Yep, hate to say it, I don't think it takes a full generation. Yeah, I don't think it takes a full generation. Well, depends on how it goes, but yeah. But as I said, every country is no more than a generation away. Could be sooner, could be longer. You never know. What is the best thing I can learn? The best thing that you can learn is how to do your own troubleshooting and thinking for yourself. The biggest detriment I see to a lot of people coming into the field of IT and cybersecurity is the expectation of being spoon fed. Learn to springboard knowledge, take concepts, and run with it. Don't expect to be spoon fed knowledge, because I run into quite a few people like that. And it can be a detriment to your own growth, your own success, and the success of those around you in your field. Is it better to rep on-prem to cloud or vice versa? Neither. There's application for on-prem, there's application for cloud. It depends on the issue that you have of where you're shifting the liability and responsibility. So if you shift things to cloud, now of course this is the difference between infrastructure as code, platform as a service, software as a service, things like that. Where do you ultimately want the responsibility to lay? If you're running on-prem, you have to worry about the facility management and the entire hardware management and the stack of everything with it. So if you're doing cloud, you don't have to worry about that as much. There's pros and cons to everything. Especially in the business world. That's what you need to consider. Now, the cloud does have its own inherent costs and issues with everything, but ultimately for businesses, the cloud makes more sense because you don't have to worry about the hardware liability of things. You don't have to invest in the hardware as much. You don't have to maintain the hardware. You don't have to do as much. With cloud, you just have to set up the logical routes and, well, the logic altogether. Start your own your own company, man. Do you know how much work that involves? I am tired. If anything, maybe one day this content creation thing takes off and then that becomes my company. Wouldn't that be nice? But right now, YouTube hasn't even paid me a dime. Hasn't even paid me a penny. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm working on the affiliate deals and everything, but all that money's going right back into my tinkering. Went to national CTS in my country and I can't seem to get a job in cyber. What should I be doing? Well, I hate to break it to you. I'm not trying to sound like a dick when I say this. CTFs don't matter shit. They don't matter for shit in the field. Like, it's a nice thing where you're like, you're in this controlled environment, you're applying little things, and, you know, you're doing your little labs and everything. But a lot of those things don't translate into a corporate environment. What you should be doing, and I have an entire YouTube video, a couple actually, going into this. I think the most prominent one is certs don't matter, why your resume gets ignored, something like that. You need to network. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. Go to the networking events, go to meet people, get their input on different things. They may have insights into different jobs that are available that you're not aware of. A lot of the jobs that I've gotten because of word of mouth and the people that I knew, not the knowledge that I knew. What about when your OS is on one cloud and information on another? That's more of an architectural problem than it is, an issue of, that's more of a logical issue than it is of an infrastructural one. But you're going to have, like, issues where you're going to have hybrid clouds. Like, where I work, we have a hybrid cloud, too. Responsibility to cloud management doesn't want to drop money on more hardware. Yeah. Plus, you have to think about it. It's not only the hardware costs you have, it's the facility costs. Every facility that you need to have the networking hardware and, every facility that you want to run your own infrastructure, and you need to worry about the networking. You need to be worrying about the cooling, or possibly the heating, depending on the time of year. You need to worry about redundancies. You need to worry about the physical connections coming in, and you want to make sure the egresses are on different parts of the building. Your backup internets, all of this stuff. And that's just a start. I'm not even talking about physical security and all the other things that have to go into a data center. There's a reason why where I work at, we got rid of our own on-prem server and we've gone co-location. Threat hunting. Well, the problem with most threat hunting positions is they usually want you to have experience in enterprise to understand the infrastructure. You need to understand how things operate in order to find the threats that are out there. Just a minute is all I need. That's what she said! Make sure your backup generators actually work during a power outage. Make sure you have a backup to your backup generator. No joke. Like, when it comes to proper data center facilities, you usually build systems in threes. You should have your main system, your backup system, and the backup to the backup system in case your backup happens to fail. Like, say you're doing maintenance on the main system, so now you're on the backup system, and then that backup happens to fail. Now you fall over to the tertiary system. How I feel the best, how I feel the best is when I watch a video and then learn about how I start learning about cybersecurity and privacy, and AI was 1 flipper 0. Yeah. Still keep tapes. Yeah, tapes are still a very useful medium for data because you can get very dense amount of data on a tape. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the delete code. The old prepper code. 1 is none, 2 is not 1, and 3 is for me. Yep, pretty much. And not she. You have more experience, that's why I'm asking. Not she. Like she's in Jinping? I don't think she is in tech. Yeah. Monday feels like a long day. It's probably because I've been dealing with like let me see. I met with a roofer today. I met with a shiesty gutter person. Not a gutter person, but they were trying to sell me gutters. And my God, there was a dude that tried to sell me a gutter system for $6,500. Most expensive quote for gutters up until now was $3,000, and the $3,000 one was actually reasonable. The other guy I just met this morning quoted me gutters for about $2,000. Probably gonna end up going with him. Because if I can get my roof done through the insurance and get my gutters, please check it out. I'll really appreciate it. We can have a private meeting if here is not good. I have a Discord, buddy, or a Matrix server. I'm also pretty busy too, just being honest. But yeah. Ooh. It feels like a long day. And I know it's only 9 o'clock. What the hell? What the hell? Are they smart gutters? They need Wi-Fi access. Smart gutters? Well, we have smart gutters and dumb kids. I don't know why the hell I did that. How much is 5 minutes of your time worth? It's not a matter of cost. It's just... I'm just busy as it is. Like, if you catch me on Discord, I'm pretty chill and open to help out people. I don't like charging people for, time and everything like that in that regard. But I like having the whole community of people sharing knowledge and everything. Because I'm not the only resource people can have out there. Think of me as a resource, not the resource. 6 p.m. here in Cali. A lot. The best resource. I think I'm okay. I think I do okay. This is a fun toy, though. I need to give this to one of my nieces and have her let me know what she thinks of it. I was trying to take this apart, though. Everything I get, I always like... It puts lotion on the skin. What type of content is on the Discord? Well, about a little over 1,000 people of tech of all different kinds of calibers are in there. We have a Radiohead's channel to talk radio. There's an anime channel to talk anime. We do gaming chats, and the general does everything. We even open up a current event channel for the people that want to talk about all the current events going on in the world, so we didn't clutter up the general channel. It's just a community I've been wanting to build for a while because I found during COVID, there's a lot of people that are looking for community to find other professionals and everything, and they don't have access to it like I did. So I'm trying to build that community to have everyone build, tinker, grow together. Crypto? Like cryptography? Yeah, we talk cryptography. What's up, Seeknay? What's your preference? Unify, UDM, or PFSense? I have PFSense. I prefer PFSense. But I use Unify switches and access points. So I mix. The Unify Dream Machines and all that stuff, they're cool in the regards of plug and play, but I would much rather them have more features and everything. Because the issue I have with Unify is I find that they don't have the granularity of features and stuff. I'm building something like that for Zambia, but it's not easy. For Zambia? Oh, you mean the country in Africa? That's a country that's not usually name dropped. I take it you're Zambian. Maybe, maybe not. Easy for me to manage small clients. Yeah. Pretty good group of people in Discord. That's what I'm saying, Chris. It's a pretty chill group. And we also have movie nights on Saturdays. Most Saturdays. There's a few exceptions. This Saturday night, Terminator 3. We already had Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. Now we're having Terminator 3. For some reason, I think it was Jest that came in, and she wanted us all to go on a tangent of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, so yeah. How can I join the Discord? The link is in the bio. You can also go to discord.chiefgeek3d.com. I have it 302 redirected to the Discord invite. But you can go to the links in bio, or go to discord.chiefgeek3d.com, and it'll bring you to it. A community, yeah, in Africa. Okay. Is Network Chuck a good channel? I think he's okay, but to be fair, I haven't watched much of his content. I've watched a few bits and pieces of things. But what I've seen seems pretty good. It's way better than Linus Tech Tips, I'll tell you that, if you're actually wanting to learn things. Linus isn't really, much of an educational content channel. He used to be back in the day when I was, like, early on in my career, and then he, like, plateaued and then just focused on the entertainment aspect of a lot of things. I don't know. I can respect the fact that he's built an empire of, for content creation and everything, but it's the aspects of, I feel like he hasn't grown with the industry. At least in the way that a lot of his audience has. Thoughts on sudo being rewritten in the Linux in Rust in the Linux kernel? I'm okay with Rust being used for things because Rust actually is a little bit more strict on what is it? I'm not a coder, so I'm probably gonna get the terminology wrong, but it's a little bit more strict in memory management and how the memory can be locked down and stuff like that. And I know that Google has reduced their amount of bugs they had reported in memory issues and stuff like that in Android alone just by switching to Rust tremendously. How do I download movies I don't own? That is a question that you need to figure out how to fit words. That is a question that you need to figure out on your own. It's not hard to figure out. Knowledge is out there. Now the question is whether you need to do how to do that safely. There's documentation out there. Now, for the sake of my own channel not getting struck, I'm not going too deep into that. Let's say I know how to do it. Every millennial knows how to do it. But that is something interesting. Just to like go on a little tangent here. I find it interesting how my entire generation just knew how to pirate content. We just knew. Like, there was everyone that knew, I can mention these because a lot of these don't exist anymore, just knew about Kazaa. Just knew about LimeWire. There was also WinMX. We just knew about these things. Seems like good content to inspire a person to dig in further, in my honest opinion. Yeah. What are you talking about? With Linus, or are you talking about with Network Chuck? His vids are too long. Whose vids? Do you think it used to be easier or simpler? What? To pirate content and everything? I think it used to be easier. It definitely used to be easier. Because you could find a lot, it was more commonplace to do it and to re-upload and be seeding content and everything like that. But I think a lot of that has disappeared because, in a good way, streaming has taken over, but also streaming is also repeating the same problems that we had with cable, where it's a fractured ecosystem that we can't reliably get the content we want legally. Music is a lot easier to just access. Like, you can go to Apple Music, you can go to Spotify, you can go many places and get all the music you want. And all the artists are pretty much on all the different platforms, but it's not the same thing with videos. Because you'll like have the issue where it's like what is it, like several seasons of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, for example, are on Netflix. But then you have to go to Peacock to get all the seasons. I don't understand why this is the way it is, but it is. Oh, Chuck, his videos are too long? Well, here's the thing. I don't think his videos are too long so much as that the attention span of the average person has really gone down. You have to understand, you're not going to get a lot of the concepts that we learn in cybersecurity from just bite-sized chunks of 5, 6, 7 minutes. TikTok, I think, has actually rotted the brains of a lot of people in terms of attention, because I have people, and I've seen the analytics on my own video, and they don't watch, on average, more than 15 or 20 seconds of my video. And it's funny, because on a lot of my videos that I did, you'll see I'll have the answers to the questions they're talking about. Sometimes 30 seconds in, 45 seconds in, 60 seconds. And they don't even stick around for the whole video to get that. On YouTube, the retention is a little bit better, but you still have the same problem. People don't want to actually consume content to digest it and think about it. They just want to have that dopamine rush of things. Oh, you're right. Linus is rather easier to digest, though. Well, that's because Linus isn't really trying to teach you much on most videos. And when he does it at a very, very surface level. Network Chuck is doing things from the videos that I've seen on a similar level of what I do. We're trying to teach you the actual things in the business, the actual concepts you'll need to know in this job. And here's the honest truth. If you don't have the attention span for a Network Chuck video, you don't have the attention span for most of corporate America in terms of what IT and cybersecurity is going to require of you. Because I'm sitting down in some very dry lectures and lessons for Proofpoint, for Zscaler, for CrowdStrike, for, all these different products and things like that. And, yeah, you think Network Chuck is a long video. Nah. He's short. I'm so annoyed with Amazon and their ads. I pay top dollar and still get ads. Yeah. Didn't you say someone dropped the whole home lab tutorial in your Discord? Yeah. Not a tutorial per really. It's just more of a collection of different labs you can do. So yeah, I guess you'd say kind of a tutorial. In the Discord, in the general section, under the pinned comments, someone dropped a 600-page PDF that's 14.5 megabytes. With all these different labs. It's great. So disjointed, the part that I really hate about streaming videos is when they go in and edit videos after releasing them. Yeah, that is annoying. Real as a sysadmin, it's obvious new help desk hires aren't putting in the time to learn the tech. Oh, absolutely. We have one person at my work. They're on my team. And, the dude's nice, don't get me wrong. He may see the stream. Nothing against you, dude. But, you gotta lab it up. You gotta learn in the concepts. You gotta stop expecting that people are gonna, be spoon-feeding you knowledge and everything. You gotta go seek the answers out yourself. And I think LLMs have also ruined it a lot for people. Like, I think too many people are using LLMs, AIs, as crutches rather than they're using them as assistive tools. It's one thing for you to use it as a tool to help you reword things, to work out little problems that need to be done, but to lean on it as as an authoritative source, as a crutch, that's only hurting you. Because you're not actually doing the critical thinking. Like, it's one thing where, look, I've always been honest about this. I use LLMs to help me write some of my scripts. But how do I do it? I word vomit in what I'm thinking of writing about and everything like that. And then I have ChatGPT make it flow a little bit better. You can tell a huge difference between my early videos when I was speaking on my own versus when I actually am writing a script now and then putting it into my teleprompter. But that is me using it as an assistive tool and me rewriting it with LLMs, and I don't even take what it's saying correctly. Like, sometimes I'll, like, you know, take that work in there, tweak a little bit there, and then that becomes the final product. It maybe does, like, I'd say, on my scripts, probably like 20-30% of the work. But I'm doing the majority of it. How can you not watch an hour-long video, but you can survive school? Instructor Paul Vids, or back in the day, taught me a lot about with VM and servers. Go ask Uncle G. Interestingly enough, I've been using LLMs to learn how to learn better. Well, it's all in how you use the tool. If you're using it as the authoritative source, that's not a good thing. If you're using it as an assistive technology, with the understanding that ChatGPT can and will be wrong and inaccurate at times, you'll go far with it. I have to fact check it on several things. I don't want my doctor to AI everything. Yeah. I use AI to basically help me with a little minor problem, like should I get a Raspberry Pi 5 or Raspberry Pi 4? Those are fine. Because what it's going to do is it's going to go through the specs and it's going to actually condense it into a way that you can understand it and give you a way to digest how it works. That's an assistive technology. LLMs always seem to give real bad suggestions. Ask it about using group policy loopback processing. Yeah, there are definitely some things I've dealt with ChatGPT where I'm like, no, you are completely wrong here. With ADHD, how do you focus on longer, drier lectures? Learned any helpful techniques? Fidget toys. Fidget toys and figure out the way that you learn best. Everyone's different. Sometimes you just gotta suck it up. It sucks, but it is that way. I gotta force myself to do my CCSP. I gotta force myself to do my general ham radio license. My ADHD go, ooh, butterfly. But no. Pomodoro helps with ADHD for me and competing interests. Yeah. You ever seen Eli the Computer Guy? No, I have not. Learned so much on subnetting from him. That's great. Hey, if it works for you, that's great. I personally learned about subnetting and networking through reading the PF Sense manual and tinkering and getting hands-on with my lab. I'm more of a hands-on kind of learner. Keep your hands busy. There's a term for it, but that's what I suggest. Yeah, fidgeting. Fidget toys. Honestly, medication has helped me the most with focusing on stuff. I think exercise also helps me. Yeah, I exercise too. It really helps me out. I have a Bowflex, a treadmill, of full body weight bench, dumbbells, weighted bars, and Indian clubs, and yeah, I got a lot of different stuff. But I also go to the gym with a friend from work. We try to work out 3 times a week at least. I'm probably not going to go to the gym this week because I got house crap to deal with. Which type of gaming are you talking about? Gaming. I normally do gaming on Linux, but I'll probably do a little bit of Doom in a little bit. We'll see how I feel. It helped me find a rootkit plus miner on one of my servers. What did? An LLM? Language models are helpful. They seem to be getting better than they were. Yeah, well, I forgot who it was that said it, but the technology of today is the worst that it will ever be, which means that it will only get better from here. You're going to be in Vegas again this year? I'm hoping. I've got my reservation for my hotel and stuff, but I'm hoping. I'm just working on a bunch of stuff for my house repairs, so that's the only thing up in the air because I got to worry about a roof repair. I got windows going in. I'm looking at getting the bathroom fixed. Well, remodeled. I want to get both bathrooms remodeled, but it's probably not in the budget to get both of them done. Got to get a water heater replaced because it's getting close to the end. Gutters, home stuff. Hooray. Yeah, that was great. Then his channel got a bit off topic and a little weird. Hey! My channel gets off topic and a little bit weird all the time. Aww. Cold plunging helps me with my ADHD. Nothing clears the mind like 33-degree weather. Yeah. I like cold plunging. I used to do that all the time when I lived out in Israel for a little bit. Because there was this place in Sfat. There's a mikvah, the Arizal's mikvah, which is where the idea of baptism came from, was mikvah, is immersing yourself in a body of water. And it's in a cave. And you do that in the middle of winter. Stripped down, butt naked. Butt naked. My God, I got so cold, I became a woman. You get that reference? But you plunge yourself in there. Woo! You definitely feel like a new person. Cold plunging helps me with my ADHD. Nothing. Yeah, I've talked about that. What's the funniest thing you've ever run Doom on? I think one of my buddies managed to get Doom running on a piano once. One of those electronic pianos. Roof and windows, it's a heck of an expensive combo. You're telling me, but there's a possibility the roof can actually be covered by insurance because it looks like it was wind damaged. So, yeah, the windows was an expensive thing, but I need to get the windows done because I have single pane windows and I'm losing money in terms of energy costs. What is your channel for? Can you please tell me? If you haven't seen the videos, it's cybersecurity, technology, gaming on Linux, and ham radios. It's kind of wherever my ADHD brain wanders. Welcome to the inside of my mind. We know what to expect and what we signed up for with you, though. Well, the people on TikTok did. Y'all have been around for the longest ride. I get this feeling that some of the people on YouTube and, for the lesser extent, some of the people on Twitch, they're new. And hold on. I don't think staying on topic is a choice. No, it is not. On another note, butterflies. Bro, every Linux user owns some mask. Do you also have those types of mask? Like Jim Carrey's mask? The mask? You see, I got Doom working on an EPT. It doesn't surprise me. Doom is a very, very interesting game in how it operates with such little resources by today's standards that now we can throw it on just about anything. What's cybersecurity? Well, digital security. Well, it's not just digital. Physical security too, like breaking into, lock picking, physical access. Physical security is a part of it too. There was a big section of my CISSP exam that I went through. I had a project in college where we had to create an ALU using an HDL. Our team decided that we wanted to have it run Doom, so we had to create a whole CPU. I don't remember how exactly we did it though. My old house has single pane windows, but I have storm windows as well. Hail has dinged a few of those storm windows, so I'm a bit afraid to invest in nice windows. Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. So if you're planning on living in a house for like 10 years or so, you'll get your money back. But here's the thing. When I did an energy audit, what was it? Did an energy audit, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago. Energy company was offering them. My windows were costing me 30% of my energy. So I could save 30% of my money by getting double pane windows. So I decided, what the hell, just do it. And retain the heat because some parts of the house got really warm because the AC couldn't reach it properly. So yeah. And then a roof. Well, a proper roof helps get the house insulated just a little bit better too. So, yeah. Since you said you're gonna get 10 gigabit internet, do you live in like LA or something? No. That 10 gigabit would be internal, not external. Internally facing, I still only have 1 gigabit copper. Are storm windows the metal ones that hang over until you want to lay them down? No. Storm windows are a little bit different. You can get the metal coverings and stuff like that. What I'd eventually love to do if I had the money, I want to get the metal covers they have on German windows. I'd love German windows. Like, you get the ones where you have the handle and you can open it, but then if you, like, flip it all the way up, you can tip it out. I think it's called kippen. I love German windows. A lot of the German engineering is great. My people should know. Look, man, dark humor. It's like food in communism. Not everyone gets it. What matrix client do you recommend? I use Element. Element is the most popular one. That's what my server runs on and all that. Sounds too complicated. Are you going to DEF CON again this year? Yeah, I'm hoping to, but I'm just worried about the expenses with my house first. That's priority, making sure my house is in order. But hopefully I'll be out there. If I do, I'll probably be out for B-Sides and DEF CON. That's my hope. Also, while we're at it, does the DC shoot have any information up? Nope. Still last year's. What about awnings? So awnings are an interesting debate. I'd like to get some awnings. They do theoretically reduce the amount of heat that comes into the house because they're not directly hitting the windows. But the problem with awnings is you have to make sure they're clean. They're a pain that way. they're one thing I'm considering getting for the house. Not a high priority. Certainly true on the IRI. I find most people's energy loss in the house from not being airtight, but heck yeah, if you've got a 30% being a drain, you're smart going that route. Yeah. The windows were the biggest drain, so I figured doing that. I did a cost calculation. I may not recoup all of the costs in terms of energy by the time I potentially sell or at least rent the house out. Who knows where it will be in 5 to 10 years. The issue with the house is, interest rates are very high right now. I was very fortunate to get a low interest rate, and I don't see myself buying a new house until those rates come down. I do eventually want to get a new house in 5 to 10 years, but we'll see. But yeah, next year I'm looking at siding and then possibly getting the other bathroom fixed. It depends on the price. I'm waiting for one of the contractors to give me the price on the bathroom. Getting both bathrooms fixed. I want to get, so I don't know if y'all knew, I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I have a jacuzzi in the downstairs bathroom here, but the issue is that jacuzzi was haphazardly put in. If you turn the jets on, it starts leaking water out the side. The water tank is not sized appropriately for the house, so you can't ever get enough hot water in the jacuzzi. Kind of defeats the purpose. It wasn't done right. So I'm going to get that all removed and turn that into a nice standing shower and put a linen closet down there. And then if I have some extra money, I'll put an infrared sauna down here. Now the upstairs bathroom, that's just a tiny ass bathroom that I just need to clean up and modernize. It looks like the 1970s puked in there. Maybe the 1990s. Or 90s. I've replaced some fixtures and things like that, but it needs to be modernized. Which distro works best with the AMD GPU? Any of them? AMD GPUs have their graphics drivers built into the Linux kernel, so it doesn't matter. Don't focus so much on which... This is where I tell people multiple times, don't focus on, oh, which distro's the best? There is no such thing as what is the best distro. There is only what is the best distro for you. Focus on which workflow works for you. I like Pop! OS. Pop! OS has the workflow, the design that I like. It works well for me. It doesn't work well for everyone. I think it's a good starter point for a lot of people. And people that like to tinker and game and all that other stuff. Don't get hung up on which distro is the best. Because there is no such thing as the best. There is only the best for you. Yeah, German-built homes looks great. The cost reflects, but they're built to be generational homes. Yeah. Maybe I'll see you there again then. Yeah, maybe. If you're on radio, you might be able to catch me. I'm going to be bringing my Mesh-tastic device this year. So, yeah. I'll have my Mesh-tastic. I'll probably have my GMRS. And depending on how I feel about it, I might set up a talk group on digital radio. So that way, anyone with a DMR mobile handset could actually reach out to talk to each other. And then we wouldn't interfere with anyone else. But, yeah. Do you know about the guy who runs a server on a Wii? I can believe it. The Wii has a decent CPU with a PowerPC CPU. I think it's a CPU that was similar to not only the Mac, but the Xbox 360. How are your mesh projects going? They're going. These tariffs, though, are killing a lot of my ability to tinker with a lot of the inexpensive stuff. Bro, you looked rich. I ain't rich. I am middle class. The richest thing I can do is put my pinky out when I hold my wine. And my wine is cheap. It's Portuguese. It's no more than $13 a bottle. GNOME or KDE? I prefer GNOME. KDE is nice and customizable, but I just couldn't get it customized to the way I wanted when I played with Tuxedo OS using KDE. Do you know what the guy who runs a server offer his way? No, I do not. Pop OS and Fedora have been good to me. I'm a super basic Linux user, though. I'm a basic B when it comes to using my computer. I just need it to work. I use the computer to run my applications. As long as I can run my applications, I really don't care. I heard that Linux Mint is a good beginner-friendly one, though. I've never used Linux, though. It is an option. The only issue I have with Linux Mint, well, there's a couple, is the issue that I understand where they're coming from, and they make it look very much like Windows, so Windows users can just hop onto Linux Mint and use it. The problem is, when people that come from Linux just start using that to look like Windows, you get stuck in the bad user experience and behaviors that Windows made you comfortable with. And you don't open yourselves to the opportunities of how you can customize your desktop, flow differently, that you should really learn to have your computer be your computer. You should have it conform to the way you want to do things, not the other way around. That's my main complaint with Linux Mint, is that it doesn't give people the opportunity to go and properly explore the options that you could have to have better computing and a better user experience. That's my piece. Tornado Thunderstorm. Did you play a new Hitman? No, I haven't played Hitman in a while. It's got its pros and cons like anything. Pretty fun to learn, though. Oh, you redeemed the call the dog to be on stream. Ari! Barack! Ari! Barack! Hey, dickheads! They respond to dickhead, by the way. I learned that a few months ago. What's up, dickhead? What's up, dickhead? Nishika. Where's your brother? You sleeping? You sleeping? He an old fart? Your brother's an old fart? Wake up, Popper. Haha. That tail's gonna get you in trouble, buddy. Let's see. Ubuntu Plucky Puffin is good, but short updates. Not familiar with that one. Thank you. I've been thinking of switching to Linux, but I don't know yet. Do it. Do it. Come to the dark side. We have open source, fresh-baked cookies, red lightsabers, and moonshine. Chev? Chev? Good boy. Come here, Lamala. Good boy. Play GTA with me. I haven't played GTA in a while. I have to reinstall that. Something is smiling behind you. Yeah, the DEFCON flag. That's the DEFCON flag. Y'all ain't ever seen that? The DEFCON flag? DEF CON, the world's largest hacking and cybersecurity convention in the world. I'll have some more content on about it this year for y'all. Now that I got my DJI camera, I can't record all the time like I did for Hamvention. I'll eventually get a video on Hamvention as well for y'all. I got some good B-roll there. Because DEF CON, we definitely emphasize privacy and stuff like that. But I will definitely try to get some people out there to talk to me on some videos. Now that I got the DJI Pocket 3 and I got a DJI mic 2, so I can mic people up and we can chat, we can schmooze, and I can get ideas from people about all the different villages and everything, and yeah. What's up, Necromancer King? How many of them are Marvel fans? What, at DEF CON? Probably a lot. Random question, though. What's your opinion on Proton Mail, Drive, etc.? I use it. If not given away by the fact that my bot auto-responds to anyone mentioning the word Proton. I use it. I like it. I'm affiliated with them. As y'all know, I only promote products that I actually will use and believe in. I don't do any of that shilling crap where it's like, hey, they gave me a bunch of money. I'm just going to talk about their product even though I don't really like it. No, I don't do that. So, like I will tell anyone with anything with a VPN, a VPN doesn't make you all that more private if you're not changing your behaviors. But I do use a VPN when I travel so that I can access geographically blocked content. Like when I was in Portugal, I wanted to access US versions of Netflix and Hulu. I use it when I'm in public airports, public Wi-Fi, hotspots, things like that, that I don't want my traffic potentially sniffed on. But Proton Mail, good solid email source, has a lot of different features like simple login, as well as Proton Pass. A simple login and Proton Pass allow you to use aliasing, so you can create as many emails as you want, so you don't have to give away your core email. So every email account, every account with your email you give out can have a different email. So if that account ever gets leaked, you don't have to worry about, oh no, this information is out there and it can be tied to my account. Each account can have a different email. And simple login allows you to generate different emails so that you can have different aliases for different marketers. So if one email gets compromised or gets too spammy, you can just nuke it. Proton Drive's pretty private. It's a great Google Drive alternative source. I really like the whole Proton suite altogether. And if you do want to get Proton today, you can, of course, check my links in bio. I am affiliated with them, so if you purchase or renew through them with my links, that helps support this channel and all of my efforts to tinker and everything. Like I said, I personally have used them. I've used them way before than I've been affiliated with them. I just happened to find out they had an affiliation, and I was like, oh, I'm already using the product, so hell, you know? I was already talking about it enough. But yeah. Proton definitely does get my vote. For those of you that are wanting a more private VPN, even though I'm not affiliated with them, there is Molvad, but the honest truth is Molvad is not as reliable if you are doing geo-blocked content. It tends to not work with Netflix and Hulu and all of those other sources and everything. But if you want a more private VPN, you can pay Monero or Bitcoin. There is that. But Proton overall, as an entire suite of privacy tools, does an amazing job. So definitely use Proton. You can check the links in bio and help support this channel. You know who Plan Rock 124? No, I don't. Did you see the video about how to delete me? How to delete me is a scam? I don't really believe that. See, the problem is a lot of these people are like, well, it's a scam. You can go delete it yourself. Do y'all know how much money and time you have to spend to go delete yourself from a bunch of different databases out there that just keep populating yourself from publicly available information? You can do it yourself, but do you realize that that's basically a full-time job in and of itself to remove yourself from all data brokers? The ideal would, of course, be that we don't have to rely on these data deletion services as a whole. But the reality is we do, because in America, we don't really have a right to privacy. That is a myth, that Americans have a right to privacy. You do not. That's something that needs to be changing. Unfortunately, Trump's CFPB is scrapping rules that actually was going to, it was a good step to, in the right direction. But Trump's administration is scrapping the CFPB and a lot of the protectionist rules. And by the way, on Delete Me, they do give you free guides to delete all the data yourself if you want. But go ahead and try and do it. It's a pain. Use my VPN on public Wi-Fi to help keep stuff more private. I don't know if you would say keep it more private, but maybe more secure. You're no more private on public Wi-Fi with a VPN than you are when you're doing it at home. You're more secure in public Wi-Fi, but you're no more secure at your home internet when you're using a VPN. At least in the sense of if you're using a VPN service to, route your traffic through them. I presume you're not talking like corporate VPN or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, the data deletion services, a lot of people have been saying like they're a racket and all that stuff, but the honest truth is I've been in this game a long time, and I'll be honest with you. When National Public Data Breach came out, I wasn't in that list. I checked my own data. And I even checked, because I recommended it to a few higher ups in the company I work at. Those executives didn't have their email exposed and stuff like that. But a lot of the people that I know that didn't use those data deletion services did have their information exposed. And that National Public Data Breach wasn't just emails, wasn't just names, wasn't just addresses. It also, and oftentimes, included social security numbers. They're, in many cases, the entire portfolio of what people need to steal your identity. Now, I will say, in addition to data deletion services that I do recommend, like I use Delete Me. I have an affiliate code with them. Not that you have to use Delete Me, but I'm just saying I use them. I've used them for a little over a decade now. You should be freezing your credit. In the United States, there's Experian, there's TransUnion, and there's Equifax. This is free. Set up an account if you haven't already with all three of the credit bureaus and freeze your credit. Anytime you need to apply for a credit card, a house, an auto loan, anytime your credit needs to be pulled, log into those accounts. Make sure you have a password manager, of course, with them. And then thaw that. Do not unfreeze your credit. Like, do not completely unfreeze it. You can schedule a thaw. So you can actually just say, hey, what's today? May 19th. You can literally go into your credit right now. And I've done this many times when I've applied to different credit cards for different perks and all that kind of stuff. When I had to get, different loans and things like that. I ask them, which credit bureaus do you use? Sometimes they only need TransUnion. Sometimes they need TransUnion and Experian or a combination. And I just log into those accounts and I schedule a thaw just for the day that my credit is being pulled. I thaw it out. Next morning, locked right back up. Straight as that. You can, of course, close it right up, too. But yeah, freeze your credit. And my advice, too, if you have kids, freeze their credit until they are 18 years old, if it's possible. Most people don't realize if you just freeze your credit, have a decent security around your life with a nice password generator and password manager, you can prevent a lot of problems in your life. Yeah. I should Google my SSN to see what comes up. I wouldn't Google it. You can use some OSINT frameworks, though. You could try Google Dorking and stuff like that. That might work, but I don't know if I'd Google it because then that actually just, ends up in their little search database and stuff like that. This is a good video. What delete me and incog me and aren't telling you. Yeah, I've actually talked about delete me and stuff like that. So some of my first videos that I did on YouTube a few months ago. I only started doing YouTube a few months ago, or the National Public Data Breach and the MC2 data breaches. I have dedicated videos on those specific incidents and talking about the data and how you could actually search yourself and stuff like that. I think at that time I recommended speaking about it. Now, in the other Signal Gate videos I had, I also made a plea, I want to say in the first and maybe the second one as well, I don't remember, went about talking about how we need data privacy laws. Because Pete Hegseth's information apparently was leaked. We have people who are important in the government that have their personal information leaked to the point one could impersonate them. And with the ability to use SS7 System Signal 7, and them liking to rely on Signal, which is not the most secure method, not because Signal in and of itself isn't secure, but because of the identity and access management issues around Signal. If you don't understand what I mean by that, I've got plenty of Signalgate videos where I've gone into this. But yeah. There's a fourth credit bureau. There is? What's the fourth credit bureau? I thought those are the three main ones. Credit bureau. USA. Your recent ham radio YouTube video was good. Yeah, that's a nice intro video. I'll be getting more into ham radio videos and all that in the near future. I've got so much other content I've been writing scripts for. I will actually tell you... I just want to see the perspective. Privacy screen for the win. I will tell you what scripts that I've actually had for videos that are going to be coming up. Sleazy sale tactics explained. These aren't the titles. These are just basically the premises, you know. So that one I do have a working title for. That might be the next one I record because I was hot-blooded over the last one. You know, the sleazy sale tactics I was talking about. This isn't a sales pitch. It's social engineering. That's a working title. I did that one. I did that one. Email encryption reality. Tails OS limitations and use. Unix versus Tails OS. Cubes OS security setup. Closed source security myth. The Try Hack Me, Hack the Box scoreboard reality. Crypto Bros ruining vision. Secure phone reviews. Scorned Apple users perspective, talking about Apple devices and all that stuff. So those are the scripts that I kind of have working for different videos that I need to sit down and record. The scripts are mostly worked out for most of those videos. I just got to do that. Any plans for OSINT videos? Kind of, but here's where I run into an ethical dilemma. A lot of the OSINT stuff that I know about and things like that, it can be scary if it's in the wrong hands, and I've seen it used in the wrong hands to stalk people. It's also one of those things, if I do it, I want to do it properly and really in depth. And that can take a long time. Like talking about transforms when it comes to Maltego frameworks and stuff like that. And Maltego is a whole deep thing that you can get into as well. It's a very powerful tool. But yeah. Not gonna lie, friends are scared of today's news. Trump's prosecuting Congresswoman. Wait, what? Who are they going after? New Jersey state attorney charging a member of Congress. What state attorney? Have you tried Tiny Core on older machines? I have not. So which congresswoman are you talking about? Oh, hold on. Representative LaMonica McIver charged with DOJ over incident with ICE agents. This one? Charges against Newark Mayor Ross Baraka were dropped. Yes, Representative LaMonica McIver was charged on Monday for allegedly assaulting law enforcement officers outside of an ICE detention facility earlier this month. Announced that she was charging the Congresswoman with assaulting and impeding a law enforcement officer. So here's the question. Now remember, I'm not a Trump supporter by any means necessary. Did she actually lay hands on any of the ICE officers? I'm asking a question here. What is the actual accusation? Can literally run on a Pentium 2. I don't have anything that old, unfortunately. I don't know the specifics, to be honest. Yeah. See, that's the question I have. And again, I am not by any means MAGA. You know that. I am not by any means a Trump supporter. I am, for those of you that don't know, a libertarian, maybe a little bit more left-leaning libertarian, little L libertarian, not big L libertarian. I'm not a libertarian as in the party. But I also hold no sacred cows when it comes to any political party or politician. But I have to ask the question, what were the specifics of the case to bring charges? And if it isn't the case that she did lay hands on a law enforcement officer, then yeah, there would be the expectation of charges to be brought. And I think you would ask the same to be done if this representative happened to be, I'm presuming, because it's, is she from Newark? Outside of Delaney Hall, yes. I would presume if she's from Newark, it's a bit more of a Democratic area, so she would probably be a Democrat. I could be wrong. I don't know the specifics of this congresswoman. But let's say if she were a Republican and she did the same thing, would you want the Republican to be charged for laying hands on a police officer? I would hope the answer would be yes. Now, as to the specifics of this, I don't know. I don't know specifics. Okay. What is your opinion on illegal immigrants? Well, I think the immigration laws on the whole thing need to be changed to actually, I mean, like, it was a pain in the butt for my family to come into this country and everything like that. I don't really agree with the way things are as they stand, but here's the reality. They make a good part of our economy. A lot of them are paying a good chunk of taxes. Everyone just wants to come to this country to be with a better life. Give us you're tired, you're hungry, you're sick, you're poor. Isn't that what is on the Statue of Liberty? I may be paraphrasing a little bit here. Yeah. I'm similar. I do believe in taking care of the poor. I believe in taking care of the poor. I'm not a heartless heathen when it comes to, like, even though I lean libertarian on things, I believe in a safety net that should be established there. I believe that there should be a safety net for everyone. Everyone falls upon hard times. And everyone should have a safety net there to catch people. And I actually, and this might be controversial, believe that healthcare is one of those safety nets that we should have in America. I don't believe in a completely socialized healthcare system. I believe in a healthcare system like what I saw in Germany and Portugal, where you have private and public options, but everyone has healthcare. I think healthcare should be a right. And I know people are like, well, what about my, I don't want to pay for someone else's tax. Like, buddy, if you actually did the math and understood that America on average pays twice per capita compared to every other country for the healthcare we have, you'd understand that we're getting ripped. And it ain't because, the things Trump's saying. We don't even allow Medicare and Medicaid to actually do price negotiations, for example, to lower down the costs of a lot of our drugs and everything like that. That's ridiculous. And have you ever looked into the healthcare system and how it is messed up? Like, you ever gotten a bill when you're uninsured versus when you're insured and you get the same procedure, and somehow with insurance it's way cheaper? And I don't mean in terms of, oh, well, your insurance is covering. I mean, like, the total cost is way cheaper. I like the system that I saw in Portugal. Everyone has public health care. You can pay for private insurance. You can see a doctor much sooner, like to actually get the like, oh, I need to see a doctor today rather than in a few, wait all day long because I'm sick. Go do that. And then when you have the major operation, it's covered. If we had proper healthcare coverage in this country, it would actually save us a lot of money, because then people wouldn't be going broke from healthcare expenses, which means that money gets to circulate across the economy instead of going to a few conglomerates that happen to be soaking up the wealth through premiums, through expenses, denying coverage. I'm not going to go as far as to say, like, Luigi, our saint, patron saint or anything like that. But I'm going to say I understand his plight. And that's why I remember when that healthcare executive got popped, I was like, about to happen sometime. Would be nice to not be fighting multiple wars for a few years. Might save some money. Yeah, if you actually, have you ever actually looked at the statistics of how many years the U.S. Has actually been at peace and not at war? I'm going to pull this up. Apparently, we've only had 15 to 17 years of peace since the founding in 1776. There's no reason why we should be spending as much on the military as we do, but I will be honest with you and say a lot of the budget issues we have in the United States isn't as simple as cutting the military. Here's the reality. We do need to raise taxes. I'm not saying raise taxes across the middle class. We've already paid enough of our fair share. But I will also say that if we taxed all billionaires 100%, you would only fund the government for, I think it was like a few hundred days or something like that. I don't remember what the exact number was. But we do need a balance of cutting expenses and raising revenue. In certain aspects, I don't think the government should be run like a business, but in other aspects, it is a business. It needs to make money. You see that new distro that looks like Windows 11? No. I don't understand why anyone would want to make a Linux that looks like Windows. What is the greatest country in the world, in your opinion? Atlantis. Under the sea. Under the sea. I don't know if there's really one great country that, it's not Sealand, I forgot about them. I don't know if there's one place that you can really consider as the greatest country. Every country has their respective issues. That's the honest truth. The USA is a great country in many regards. You can easily make money here, but it costs a lot of money too. If you're looking to build a business, the USA is one of the easier places to do so. That's the honest truth. Raise capital, raise finance. There's a reason why that is the way that is. Is SpongeBob Atlantean? I don't see why not. They are pushing it in ads. It was made by a Microsoft developer. Ew. If they're pushing it in ads, then they're paying money. And if you worked at Microsoft, I really hope the aspect of collecting data to make money off of you didn't rub off. Maybe it's a Trojan horse from Microsoft to actually get you to, just install Windows in a very sneaky way, and then you just start using it, and 2 years later, you're like, wait, what the hell? This is Windows 11. They bait and switched me. I don't know, that's just me. Who knows? But yeah, as far as the greatest country in the world, all countries suck for different reasons. Yeah, but it's completely open source, says GitHub, etc. What if they obfuscated this code so much that you didn't realize that it was the Microsoft Windows 11 source code? Just obfuscated. It's a long con. What if you hit apt update and it starts installing Windows in the background? Is that what Windows Subsystem for Linux is for? Windows Subsystem for Linux is really just the Trojan horse of condoms into your computer. You're right. That's right. You heard me. It's Debian, LOL. No, it's Windowian. You've heard of Intel Inside? Bill Gates Inside. Before you know it, you end up bending over, waking up to Bill Gates. I can't even finish that sentence with a straight face. Bill Gates just coming up behind you, caressing you. What is happening? Well, you see, Microsoft is just slowly playing, Careless Whisper into the night to get you to install their operating system. See you later, Kermit, man. I might need a Bill Gates Inside sticker. This is what happens when you're on little sleep. You get loopy. Clippy is a predator. Yeah, Clippy's on the registry. Is this your Sling Blade side? The what? What does that mean? You know, an Easter egg, by the way. If you ever open up Cortana on Windows, and ask how Clippy is, it turns into Clippy for a moment. No joke. Go look it up. Go try it for yourself. Never seen the movie Sling Blade? I don't think I have. What is today? Monday? Yeah. I hopefully should be back on stream on Wednesday. I need to go play more Doom. Not tonight. I'm definitely too tired for that. But I can't wait to do some ham radio content with all of you. One of these days, what I might do, I could actually run the USB cable in through here to this machine. I'd have to run like a 20-footer. If I can get the ham radio over there, I can actually tune it and everything, control it from the Linux box if I do AHRL. That'd be fun. One for the books. It's one for the books. But, yeah. We'll definitely be tinkering with more ham radio stuff. We'll be doing a lot of stuff. I have a video. Oh, I have a script somewhere for setting up my Ray Hunter. I gotta find that. But, yeah. Anyway. I am starting to fade, guys. So, before you start, you know, seeing a long stream with my background music going... I'm going to, call it a night, y'all. Thanks for hanging with me. And I will definitely be back on Wednesday. I'm usually on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, if you haven't already, join the Discord server. Join the Matrix. Links are in the bio. And, of course, follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Mastodon. Follow me on Blue Sky. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Thank you all for joining. Stay safe out there. Happy hacking. And 7-3. I'll see you next time. Stick around for the raid if you're ever on Twitch. Love you all.